me share my screen. We had completed this forward pass and backward pass of CPM, that is critical path method. So first I want to know if anyone is having doubt, then let me know. We'll clear the doubt first and then we'll move to the next diagram. Next topic. Sure, I will recap. Sorry? Just to provide that all statistical detail in one table. That what is the starting time of activity, from where it is inherited, what should be the starting time of next activity, what is the dependency of those intermediate process, to have a information of all this stuff. Because after that you will have detail in one single table. Yes, that is why it is called as like entire, what word we had used, work breakdown process, entire network, right? Activity network we are having. So that we want to analyze. Right now, keep with you if someone will. So yes, student, as per your demand. Uh, Concentrate here, students. See, just quickly revise of whatever we had did. Here we are providing detail of the activity, here duration. This is the, yes, everyone ready? Okay. This is the early finish, this is the latest finish, this is the latest start, and this one is the early start. So we'll have detail like activity name, so that we written like as here A, this is B. After that here we had written the duration. So duration detail is already with us, right? So that duration we are writing over here. Now as A is the first activity, so start time of A is 0. So 0 plus duration, that means ES plus duration will give you the detail of EF. Okay. So in the every box we'll have detail of EF with us. Now whenever we'll reach to last, for the last activity, whatever is its early finish, the same as its latest finish. So here we are getting a 19. The same time 19 we are repeating over here. Okay. Now to identify the latest start, this one, this first below box, okay. We need to do just latest finish minus duration. So 19 minus 3 we are getting 16. So likewise, are you able to complete entire pass, right? Either it is forward or backward. You can take 1 or 2 minutes if you want to draw it out, if you want to note it down anything. Now we are having like, okay, you might not able to see. Shall we move further? Fine. If you had checked list properly, we'll have two main scheduling method. The one is this PERT, that is program evaluation and review technique, and second one is critical path method. So we had already completed that critical path method. Right, now we'll start with this PERT, that is program evaluation and review technique. These two methods are under, just a minute. Under these two steps, work breakdown and activity network. After that, we'll start with this Gantt chart. Okay. Now both are having simple theory to just explain. Okay, here it is. So what do you mean by PERT? Again, this is nothing but the project evaluation and review technique, right? So we are evaluating and we are reviewing our project. For that, we are mentioning detail of mainly three things. One is pessimistic, likely, and optimistic. So these three terms we had already seen in this chapter itself, right? Pessimistic, that means that term which is actually not that much easily possible, right? Say for example, if I am expecting that in this particular subject, the 80% of student must acquire 30 out of 30. So that is like kind of assumption, but it is not necessity to have in existence, right? So that particular assumption we can consider as a pessimistic. Likely, that means your average expectation. Say for example, I am expecting that 60% of student must have marks more than 20, right? So that is kind of average expectation from the faculty you can consider, right? So that is your likely expectation in your project. And third one, that is optimistic. So for that we can consider like I'm expecting that 70 to 80% student must be higher than 22 marks. So it is not difficult, or you can say it is quite feasible task, right? For that you need to work thorough, but it is quite feasible task, right? So that is called as a optimistic uh, optimistic assumption, right? So here regarding our project, we are referring this three term. So this PERT chart consists of network of boxes and arrow. The boxes represent activities and the arrow represent task dependency. Say for example, B is initiated from A. So that is shows us the dependency of those activities, right? The second is in a PERT chart, instead of making a single estimate for the task, we'll have all these three possibility: pessimistic, likely, and optimistic. Since all possible completion time between the minimum and maximum duration for every task has to be considered, there are not one but many critical paths. Obviously, it is possible because we are having so many dependencies on every task. So we'll have more than one feasible task. Sorry, more than one feasible way. Gantt chart is helpful for planning the utilization of resources, while PERT chart is useful for monitoring the timely progress of activities. So what is the main requirement? This Gantt chart is used for the planning purpose, and this PERT chart is mainly used for the monitoring purpose, that what is the cost and efforts you require in this project. So how we can monitor? See, this is the dependency and chart of each and every activity. One is specification. From that we are identifying database design, GUI design, and user manual. Those modules are again dependent on some other activities. Now you can see over here, with each activity we had defined three terms, right? Say for example, specification is having 12, 15, and 20. So what is that? What is that? In the last slide only we had discussed. With each chart, with each activity, we had written 3 values. Say for example, in specification, it is 12, 15 and 20. So what is that? Yes. Everyone getting? Every activity we had written 3 values: pessimistic, likely and optimistic. So you can see over here. So see, generally likely will be the average of your pessimistic and optimistic, generally, right? Clear everyone? Okay, fine. Now the next is related to Gantt chart. So this is a type of chart in which series of horizontal line are represent the show that amount of work done. You can see over here. See, they have written various months over here: September, October, November, December, and January. Right? These are the duration. Like one review we had taken on the 6th. After that, on the 13th of September, 20th, and 27th. Right? So here we are able to represent the work done in each and every time span. Okay? So see over here. Shows the amount of work done or production completed in a given period of time in a relation of amount planned for those projects. So Gantt chart is used for following details. So what are the details we are able to represent with help of Gantt chart? What are the various activities are? When each activity begins and ends. Third one is how long each activity is scheduled last. Fourth one is where activities overlap with other activities and by how much time. And fifth one is the start and end date of entire project. So you can see over here various tasks is given like software development, requirement analysis, architecture design, procedural design, code, testing, types of testing, unit integration, acceptance, operation, packaging, and customer training. So you may refer like sometimes here we are having software development going on and we are starting with the requirement analysis, right? So whatsoever overlapping, the time duration, ending time, starting time, every detail we are able to analyze with this chart. Are you able to see this thing? Okay. Finally, the last topic of this particular chapter. Again, it is having like 20 pages of our PPT, right? So it is project training. So the project schedule provide a roadmap for the software. How it is scheduled. Define the task and various milestones. 7 ways to track project schedule. Now, in various ways to schedule. Status meeting this kind of reviewing committee, right? They will take review from developer team, from designer team, that how much percentage of work.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Progress. Now I am clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The third one is determine if formal project milestone have been accomplished. So milestone will be decided in so with start, then also I will define plan date for each topic. Say for example, this project schedule and tracking topic I will start on this date. But actually it is not possible. It may vary, right? Sometimes we may have some, whatsoever reason, right? So that we need to plan this topic. Informal meeting with practitioners. So we are doing informal meeting as well, just to get some exact overview of our project. Last is using earned value analysis to assess project quantitatively, right? Whatever value we had analyzed till this time, with that factor also we can analyze. One more factor using which we can perform the tracking, but that process is not ongoing process. Say for example, completion date. Sometimes we may have like deadline of 60 days. So that is right. So by verifying or by reviewing that delay, you can provide some better information from the next project onwards. But again, that is not ongoing process. That only we are able to analyze once we are done with that ongoing project, right? So that factor also you can consider as a one of the major point in your scheduling. Now the next is project manager takes the control of schedule in the aspects of the first one is project staffing. He or she is responsible to manage all this detail. Project problems, if we'll have any problems, obviously we are going to tell to our leader, right? Team leader or whatsoever. Third one is project resources. If we'll provide some resources or if we require any of the extra resources, that will be provided by that manager itself. Review will be taken by them, and last one is the project budget. That will be also decided by project manager. Fine. Okay, now this is last topic. I mistakenly said that tracking, but it is with respect to schedule and tracking. Now this is last topic, finally. Risk analysis and management. Okay. So here they have written one line, risk analysis and management are a series of steps that help a software team to understand and manage the uncertainty. Obviously, in case of uncertainty, we'll have a chance of risk, right? So there are various types of risk, various type of situation where risk can be generated, right? So we are analyzing all those aspects in this topic. So risk. So what do you mean by risk? A risk is a potential problem which might happen and might not. Obviously, it is not compulsory problem, right? So conceptual definition of risk, how you can define risk in case of this subject. Now it is visible, right? Fine. So this is how we can define the risk. Okay. My screen is changing in the mid. Fine. Two types of characteristic of our risk. The one is uncertainty. Second one is the loss. So loss is a entity which directly give you the result perspective of your risk, and uncertainty is a kind of situation, right? So in the uncertainty, the risk may or may not happen. That is, there are no 100% portable risk, right? It may happen, it may not. For example, third wave of corona, it is totally uncertain, we can say, especially in India, right? And loss, that means if the risk become a reality, unwanted consequence or losses will occur. Definitely, if there are some of the risk which for sure give you the loss. Okay, so that you can consider over here. After that, project risk. That means categories of your risk. What type of category you can analyze? So first one is project risk. Second one is technical risk. Third one is business risk. So these are the major categories of your risk. One is with relate to your project and work going on in the project. Second one is technical issue, like some electricity, some network. There are some portable devices who are not working, some servers are down. So all those are like technical risk. And business risk, that means that, say for example, you are having some financial issue, you are having some reliability issue on your software. So all those type of terms you can consider in this business risk. In the next slide we'll have all various types of business risk. So in that we'll see in detail. So you can see over here what type of business risk you can analyze. Market risk, obviously. Second is strategic risk. Strategic risk, that means building a product that no longer fit in the overall business strategy for the companies. So see, sometimes in so many products, even in so many softwares, will have those type of modules and application, which is no longer used, right? Say for example, there's yes, hike is hike. Then after that, web chat, no, WeChat, WeChat, Hangout is still, yes, it is, yeah, changed to Google Meet. Then there's Adobe, what plugin we require every time in those simulation. Flash, yes, Flash. That nowadays they are providing with this Adobe Reader itself, right? Otherwise, in some of this simulation, we have to have that Flash enable in our system. But I guess from 2000 or maybe from 2003, Flash is simply banned. Flash died, right? So those kind of term you can utilize that. Priorly will have all those so many platforms who are even not able to work without Flash, right? But nowadays they have changed their requirement, they have modified their platforms need, right? And we are easily able to run all those applications. Okay, so that you can consider as a one of the example. Any query? It is totally lost because failure is kind of result you are getting, but you are failed. You are zero. That is kind of your loss. Yes, it is not risk. Risk will come in the uncertainty picture. Let's say, for example, if we have third wave, then we have this risk, we might have this risk, we might have this risk. But if we die, then that is result, right? Yeah, either.
TikTok is an example of strategy risk.
Why?
TikTok is banned in India.
But that is for with some different reason. We cannot consider as a strategic risk, I guess. So how TikTok you can relate with this? वैसे तो पबजी भी बैन हो गए, पर उसको क्या आप स्ट्रेटेजी रिस्क में डाल सकते हो? हाँ, वो आ गया इंडिया वाला नया वर्ष। हाँ, अब आपकी नींद उड़ गई, पबजी का नाम आया तो। क्या? नहीं बोला, मुझे लगा ठीक है चलो। दिक्कत ये है, ये सब्जेक्ट में हमारे सभी लेक्चर लास्ट में ही है। आई मीन आई गेस मंडे को भी आफ्टर लंच ब्रेक है, आज भी और कल भी यही टाइम पे है। यस, पर मॉर्निंग में हो तो थोड़ा फैकल्टी भी रिफ्रेश होते हैं और स्टूडेंट्स। So third risk, sales risk. Building a product that the sales force doesn't understand how to sell. That is again quite one of the risks, that you are having production committee well organized. Marketing committee is also well organized and well trained. But what if you are not having those sales committee good enough to sell your product? I guess it is more or less relevant with this marketing committee, but in short, that should be well trained, right? Then you can, there is like you had 100 or 1,000 products in your garage, but that is like sales market is very down, so there is again no use. You need to maintain that ratio, right? Fine. Management risk. Losing the support of senior management due to the change in the focus or the change in the people. Say, for example, initially they have provided like the budget is of 1 lakh, and meanwhile, if they are changing the budget, definitely everything you need to plan according to that 1 lakh. But now you need to change everything, right? You cannot afford that much people, you cannot afford that much resources, even because your budget is changed suddenly. So that is the type of business risk. And fifth one is budget. Obviously, right? So in the management, they are focusing on the number of people, right? Generally. And in the budget is it is like compulsory, we are depending on that 1 lakh rupee. And if it is not with us, we might need to have some runtime risk. Okay. Another general category of risk, that means the risk which are not in that business category, known risk. Those risks that can be, yeah, definitely. Say for example, in the cheese sandwich, if you are telling prepare my sandwich without cheese, then look and feel and even taste will just go, right? So that is reflected on the quality. Sorry? No, that is again different thing. Someone is having taste as a criterion. Okay, known risk. So what is there in the known risk? Those risks that can be uncovered after careful evaluation of the project plan, the business and the technical environment in which the project is being developed, and other reliable information source. For example, unrealistic delivery date. Say for example, initially we'll do very good planning, right? I will just analyzing that the software engineering subject I should complete in 2 months. For that time span, I am taking so many lectures, but even by verifying the length of syllabus, I am not able to complete in that time span. So actually in prior, I am knowing that in this 2 months of time, I am not at all able to complete my entire subject. But still, I had uh, kept that risk in mind and I had planned accordingly, right? So that is like known risk in prior, and though you are trying to develop your system on that with help of that risk itself. Are you getting? Second is predictable risk. Those risks that are deducted from the past project experience. Sorry, deduced from the past project experience. That means, say, for example, we all are having experience of that second wave. So whatever we had learned from that second wave of corona, obviously we'll try to keep in mind whenever we are entering in this third wave, right? So that is like you are learning from your past experience to overcome future risk. The third one is unpredictable risk. Those risks that can and do occur but are extremely difficult to identify in advance. Third wave of corona. Okay. Yes.
It always happen that software development always the delivery date got delayed.
No, it is not at all always happening.
Any lecture that on this delivery date that many times it got delayed.
That is one of the factor that you can keep in mind, right? But you may see so many companies, I mean, in every company there is a deadline. Whatsoever project is given to you, there is a deadline that within this week you need to submit this task. So it is not like that every company is delivering lately. Otherwise it will the impact issue, right? You will lose that impact from the market because ultimately nowadays we are solely dependent on the delivery date. If we are not getting product on time, we are even ready to pay extra, but we require our product on that expected date. But sometimes like this server down and this environmental effect, sometimes in that stock markets will have those election effect of election, effect of that weather changing, right? So all those factors are genuine factors and they will definitely affect on that. So that we cannot deny. Okay? But if there is no factor, then you must have result on time. Now risk strategy. So there are mainly two types of strategy that one can follow. The first one is reactive, second one is proactive. So in the reactive, that means we are having several sentences and we are telling like, okay, that will be fine, will overcome easily. And in this proactive, will definitely have the more chances of that risk. I mean, there should be risk, okay, kind of situation. So in the reactive, don't worry, I will think of something. The majority of software team and management rely on this approach, right? They are rely on this approach on this sentence. Fine. Nothing is done about risk until something goes wrong. That means they are, I mean, very peaceful minded. They are not doing anything once we are having some big loss in a picture, right? The team then flies into action in an attempt to correct the problem rapidly. Then after all they are starting, say for example, we all are telling you prior to 1 month that you are having mid-examination on this date. But in most of the case, students are not starting to read anything. At the last day of exam or before that day, students are rapidly starting reading. They are even asking so many questions in the WhatsApp, in the mail to faculties. Ma'am, what is the answer? What should do? Please give the IMPs and all those stuff, right? So the same example you can relate over here, but don't write this type of example in the exams, okay? This is just for your understanding, so you can relate easily. The second one is proactive risk strategy. Steps for risk management are followed. That means here we are providing the mass of people who are so much studious, right? They are reading from the first day itself, okay? Primary objective is to avoid the risk and to have an emergency plan in the place to handle unavoidable risk in a controlled and effective manner. Right? They are planning from the first day of their semester itself, because it may happen that meanwhile if you are having some emergency issue, you are not well or anything happen, then you can cover everything, right? Okay. So this is mainly two strategy. Now after that, steps for this risk management. We will have 15 minutes of time, right? Fine. So steps for risk management, the first one is identification, second one is estimation, and third one is mitigation, planning, and third one term is there. Okay, that is fine, we'll discuss at that time. Here mitigation and plan. So identification, that means identify possible risk and recognize what can go wrong. So here we'll simply focus on the identification. Second one is estimation. So now we are estimating regarding whatever risk we had identified. Analyze each risk to estimate the probability that it will occur and then damage that it will do if it does occur. So we are like estimating that suppose this risk will occur, then how much percentage of damage we got in our product, okay? Whether it is hardware, software or anything. Risk mitigation and planning. The risk by probability and impact. So impact may be negligible, marginal, critical, and this word is new for me, catastrophic, right? So here we are like mitigating what are the categories of our risk. We are doing several meetings to identify each and every margin and margin and ratio of your project. Okay, fine. Develop a contingency plan to manage those risks having high probability and high impact. So whatever information we had collected from that mitigation, we are planning them that first will focus on the risk which are highly affected, who's having highly impact on our product. Then after with the less impact risk and so on, okay? The next is risk identification. So the first we had seen, that is identification. Now the same identification we'll have in detail. So here it is a systematic attempt to specify threat to the project plan. By identifying known and predictable risk, the project manager takes a first step towards the avoiding them when possible and controlling them when necessary. So first step is we'll try to avoid. We are simply neglecting those risks. But at that level, when it is not feasible, we'll try to control them, right? If students are gossiping in less amplitude, we are simply ignoring. But after that, faculty needs to control students, right? And that will happen when we'll have entire class and we are learning this type of theoretical subject. So two distinct type of risk in this. One is generic, second one is product specific risk. So in the generic are the potential threat to every software project. With every type of project, and product specific, that means as the name suggests, it is quite specific risk, right? So there's two type of risk you can identify in the identification factor. The second is known and predictable risk subcategory. So in this particular risk can be dependent on these three categories. One is product size, second one is business impact, third one is customer characteristic. So product size, how it is affected, risk associated with the overall size of the software to be built or modified. Right, sometimes if may have lesser size of project, we might have some less chances of risk. Second one is business impact, risk associated with constraint imposed by management or the marketplace. Right, say for example, you want to deploy your product in nearly August. And at August itself, you are having very less market goes down, you might have some run transactions, so that will impact on your system. Third one is customer characteristic. Risk associated with the sophistication of the customer and the developer's ability to communicate with the customer in a timely manner. So there are type of customer who are not getting their attention on time. They might simply switch project from one developer team to another, right? Because nowadays customers are in demand, right? Because they are able to find so many different ways to complete or to build their product, right? But we as a developer team have to manage our customers, okay, just to maintain the portfolio in our, not in our society, but in our entire team in this media, okay. After that, process definition. Risk associated with the degree to which the software process has been defined and it is followed by the development organization. So this is the way we need to follow. Yes, Manan? Any query? Fine. Development environment. Environment is also one of the factor, right? Technology to be built. And last one is staff size and experience. Fine. I hope this category is easy to understand, right? Easy to relate. Fine. Risk projection, that is nothing but the estimation, the second term. After identification, we'll have estimation. So how you will estimate? So there are two main ways, that is likelihood or probability that the risk is real, and second is the consequence of the problems associated with the risk should occur. So there are two type of estimation that we can manage. Now in this, the project planner along with the other managers and the technical staff perform 4 risk projection activities. So how we can estimate? The first one is establish a scale that reflect the percent likelihood of, that means we are giving scale of our risk. Either it is very low or it is very high. Second one is describe the consequence of risk. So whatever factor we are affected on that risk, we are also describing those factor over here. The third one is estimate the impact of the risk on the project and on the product. Okay, that is also factor of estimation. Fourth one is note that overall accuracy of the risk projection. So there will be no misunderstandings. Okay, that means we need to focus on each and every estimation category. It is not like that we are only focusing on one or two categories. So this is with respect to estimation. And the third one, that is RMMM, risk mitigation, monitoring and management. So mitigation, that means we'll try to avoid. Monitoring, that means we are tracking. And management and contingency planning, that means in which we are managing the whatever generated risk. Okay. I guess we are able to complete. Okay. Let me start. Try to read this slide. Anyone who can explain this step? Very easy. Just try to read all those lines first. Let me tell you. So avoidance, that means here we are try to ignore that risk, right? So for that we need to use, we are not required to think out of the box. We are first thinking related to our safety, related to our boundaries, and then we'll try to explore that particular work, right? So here, developer team will generally try to minimize the turnover. So what will happen if we'll enlarge that entity, then we might have possibility of several risks. But if we try to minimize that, other stuff, other resources are as it is, then we might have less chances of that risk, right? So that is kind of, we are avoiding that risk. And just to avoid that risk, we are keeping less turnover. Okay, fine. The next is again on the same. Once the project commerce assume turnover will occur and develop a technique to ensure continuity when people leave. So time documentation standard and established mechanism to show that staff member for critical technologies. Fine. So here we are earlier making some steps to avoid our risk. Okay. The next is monitoring. So in this monitoring, we are monitoring our risk, like the project manager monitor factors that may provide an indication whether the risk is becoming more or less likely. Fine. So you are just required to remember this one line in each this: avoiding, monitoring, and the last one is management and contingency planning. So here in this, risk management assume that mitigation efforts have failed and that the risk has become the reality. Obviously, now risk is in a picture. If the mitigation strategy is followed, then backup is available, information is documented, and knowledge has been dispersed across the team. So now we need to think related to that risk, that how we can find some solution from that risk. So those who are leaving are asked to stop all work and spend their last week in the knowledge transfer mode. So what will happen, that we'll try to acquire some more knowledge and we'll try to obtain some solution from that current risk. The last slide, RMMM plan. So that is document all work as a part of analysis used by the project manager as a part of overall project plan. So here, generally this document is prepared, which is called as a RIS, risk information sheet. Okay, and in that you are having this type of detail. Actually, this is not required to prepare, but which organization will have this type of details. So one can take some knowledge from this. You can just refer this slide, what type of details they are providing. Meanwhile, just write down your enrollment number. So finally, we are done with this chapter, having 117 slides. One hundred and 170. So I suggest you that in this chapter, just try to draw that structure. Like in this topic, we'll have this 3 subtopic. After that, again, it is having this 3 subcategories. Just simply write that list, right? Once that list is even remembered by you, you are easily able to write down content in that, right? But let's suppose risk category, then what are the categories? Then risk type, then risk characteristics. All those stuff, just try to write it down briefly, okay? Thank you, everyone.